And so I find myself defaulting to either lines from or names of songs. And so based on the moral dilemma the party ended on last time, the working title for this session is Do We Save or Do We Go Now?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was not disappointed at all. And it's a tricky thing to do in a gaming group. I was not disappointed at all about the inter-character conflict that got raised last time. That was exactly the kind of thing I would have expected from, Zandri and or Adamant, realizing, oh crap, these people are in trouble.
Well, yeah, none of my issues are with anything in character. Out of character, I know that, like, Ken and Chris, and I think to a certain degree Ash as well, they don't like getting off track. And I sympathize with that a lot. I don't like getting off track. But I feel like there's a distinction between getting off track with things the DM puts in front of us and things that we just come up with ourselves. But I don't think that the rest of the party feels that way. So I don't know personally as a player what the heck I should be doing. Like, what do I bite on here? And that makes a lot of frustration for me. And then, like, when something comes up where it's like, yeah, Zandri would go with that. It's like, yeah, but what do I do here?
Yeah, I think if it's any consolation, I think there's no wrong answer from what the party will decide to do. Of course, it's a choice. And every choice that the group makes, whether you've got a group where one of you is Tom Petty and everybody else is the Heartbreakers, and everyone just does what Tom Petty says, or whether you are all, more or less equal collaborators in the decisions that get made, then whichever direction you decide to go, there's benefits to that and there's consequences to it. And sometimes you all as players and your characters will never know the difference. And that's the way it should be, in my opinion. You shouldn't have a crystal ball to say, oh, well, if we do this, it's going to mean down the road A, B, C, and D.
Yeah. I agree 100%, and that's something that I absolutely love about, like, D&D itself, because as a game, just no matter what you're playing, it has the potential to go off in really cool directions.
Yes, absolutely.
But none of my frustration and worry and irritation even is due to in-game stuff. I think in-game we've got a fantastic group of players. It's like, I would just disagree with your earlier point of there's no wrong answer, because I personally do feel like there is a wrong answer. And that's where people in the group stop having fun, which is my concern. I want everybody at the table to be having fun, not just me. If it was just me, yeah, I'd be doing like all sorts of stuff with Olorin all the time. I'd be taking like hours and hours to go off and do all sorts of different side quests and engaging with all sorts of different things and not worrying so much, because me as a player, I'm fine with slowing down and taking a more story-driven approach. But we've got people who want to get to their special characters. We've got people who want to level up. We've got people who out of game and in game really want to stick to the main plot line because, you know, they have in-character reasons and out-of-character reasons, and, you know, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. There's no one answer that makes everybody happy, but as long as everyone's at least having fun, then whatever answer we come up with is the right answer. That's just my concern, is figuring out what that fun meeting point is, you know?
Mm-hmm. I understand, or at least I think I understand better, that people don't want to get sidetracked beyond the main characters and exploring what's going to happen to them. And I would just maybe remind everybody that we're in a milestone game, so there are certain things that it takes to get to the next milestone, and to be quite honest, at this section of the game, the milestone is you finish whatever you're going to do in one plane and you move to the next one, and that's kind of your milestone. So you can take as much or as little time in a particular plane to do whatever you want, and it's going to, you know, with the exception of sort of that nebulous somewhere back in the multiverse countdown clock going on, there's not going to be any, you know, any appreciable difference in speeding through everything that you absolutely have to do, or stopping and smelling the roses.
Yeah, and I'm a stop and smell the roses person, 100%, which is why I'm really so concerned. Because if I'm left to my own devices, or if I'm not conscious about it, I'll stop and smell the roses all day, and we'll get nowhere. Anyway, I just had an absolutely fantastic half of a meatball sub, and
I saw your picture.
Really?
That looked good.
Yeah, it was. These are actual, you can tell, these are homemade, hand-rolled, giant freaking meatballs, and they're absolutely delicious. And the calamari is really good, too.
Nice.
Sausage.
My husband got a sausage and marinara sauce sub, and he's over there giving me, like, 2 thumbs up and, like, going, nice, nice.
Yeah, it's like grease.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's like this is the 3rd time we've ordered from this family place. The first time we got their wings, and then the second time we got their chicken tenders and bacon and cheese fries, and then this time we tried their subs, and it's just been like they're 3 for 3.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Nice. Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and deafen myself.
I will go back to Druin.
Run, grab something to drink, and the stream is running. Sound check is good. Oh, all right. Omar. Hey, Omar, how you doing? Great to see you on the stream. Thank you, sir. Omar is the DM of the campaign I have been following on Twitch during the week.
Nice.
Yeah, because
Hi there, Omar.
Because those guys are in Dubai, their evening stream is right in the middle of the day for us, which is great because during the week I'm working during the day.
So you can listen to them.
So I can put their stream up while I'm working and occasionally toggle over, and if they do something funny, I can add a little comment from the peanut gallery.
Alrighty. Well, grab your drink. Grab your drink, Gally. You need that.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Hola.
¿Cómo está?
Cold.
You're cold?
We just put our window air conditioner and everybody's seats right in front of it.
Oh. I got
And the blanket I keep on my chair is downstairs in the wash. It is not dry yet. So at the moment, I'm cold. How are you guys?
chewing.
Children. Nom 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 nom. You don't need more horses.
You don't know what you're talking about, Pete.
You don't need more horses.
You don't know what you're talking about, Pete. When you're breeding mammals, clarification stream, this is talking about a video game. This is not the way to treat animals in real life. When you're breeding mammals in Arc, Pete, you need many, many females, and you need many, many, many babies before you get mutations. And they do not last more than 5 minutes after they're born. I need more.
I never need more. What morning game?
My girlfriend runs a morning game.
Oh,
It's a couples game. My husband and I play, and then 2 other pairs that she's familiar with, friends with play. And I'm very proud of her because she does a very good job.
that's good. It's nice to see her coming out of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a lot of dudes. Goodness.
was actually pretty disappointed when I was looking at progression for my character in my girlfriend's game.
Why that?
I was building up a lizard folk monk, and he uses his bite attack for his attack.
Right.
And I was looking at it and I thought to myself, it would be nice to take a single level of barbarian so that he would get access to rage. But the problem is, monk unarmed strikes do not count as melee weapon attacks. And there is a distinction in rage and in a lot of features that says this has to be triggered by a melee weapon attack.
Yup.
Which is disappointing.
Hey, Gally.
Hey, how you doing? So while Omar is hanging out in the chat, there's something I want to show him. Gaunty, we were talking during the week, and on Instagram, and then on the chat on his stream. He was talking about one of the things that he was looking forward to doing, and it was related to the slate that I created from your images. So Omar, what we have is Gaunty has made all of these portraits. Oh, and for some reason the stupid thing is sized just... There's a weird thing going on with... There we go. Oh, hey, turn off, mute yourself, whoever has music going in the background. Mute it. Mute yourself. I'm going to mute you for you.
Ouch.
Okay. Keep your mics muted. Then we have these portraits.
Which had something that loaded up automatically when I logged into it.
And there's the grayscale portraits that we can put up when a character is not part of the scene. And then when a character is in the scene, I can go to the DM layer, or I can go to the layer and I can move their grayscale back to the GM screen, and that will bring them all forward and make them all full color. So we can use this for RP scenes, because our players are a little more old school than your players are, Omar, and they prefer not to have the cameras going and everything when they're playing, which is fine. But this gives us a nice little median ground that we can where we can display the portraits of the characters. We have to update Ash's character because he was playing Thardrum, but now he's playing a halfling, so we'll need to get a new portrait for Gerry from that. But yeah. Guys, we're closing in on a couple of goals here on the stream. We're closing in on 50 followers and on we're a little over 850 views. So
We have that many followers?
yeah, we have 42 followers right now.
Wow.
And so those are people that are getting notified every time we go live.
Well, shout out to all of you. We really appreciate it. All 42 of you?
Yes.
Yep. Yep, we have. Oh. Gally.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh.
I logged into Twitch and it loaded up this stupid DJ video.
Oh, yeah, it does that.
Sorry it took me so long. I was kind of recovering. Scared the living crap out of me. Plus, I think it might have deafened me a bit.
Yeah, I always have to remember when we play to turn the volume down to about 30%. Hey, Goonie.
Oh, boy.
Hi, Chris. Hey, Goonie.
Hey.
All right, Goonie, we'll see you when you get back. She is going for a walk with her sweetie. And she'll be back to settle in and watch the rest of the...
Goonie making me envious.
Yeah. This is normally a day in a normal year, in a year without COVID. This would be a Sunday that I would normally say, nope, no D&D, because it is one of the great days in the global sports calendar. You get up in the morning, have your morning cup of tea and your morning breakfast, and while you do, you watch the Grand Prix of Monaco, and then you settle in for lunch and you watch the Indy 500, and then as you are winding down for dinner and trying to stay awake or wanting some background noise to fall asleep, you watch the Coca-Cola 600.
You'd think they'd still be able to hold those, at least for television.
Yeah, I mean, it's for Formula One and for IndyCar. They got a lot more issues because they hold their events in different countries, and everybody's calendars are all changed around to different degrees.
Yeah, plus the open cockpit on the cars. I mean,
I don't know if that really makes a whole lot of difference, because there's just a side netting without any glass in the windows for the NASCAR, so it's like they're still getting outside air in, and
yeah, that's true. And the crews and everything, like
yeah. All right. Oh, we're down to just about 2 minutes. I also changed up, if anybody has been watching if any of the players have been watching on the streams, I've changed up how I do the beginning. I've created a separate scene for the pregame, where it just has a slate and it has the timer on it, and then I change the whole scene over to show our
I had not noticed. That's
to
neat.
show our battle map. Yeah, that timer just is a nice little feature that, somebody gets on the stream and like, okay, nothing seems to be going on, and they see that timer. Oh, okay.
It's useful for the recordings later on YouTube as well. Then they can time skip past the pregame stuff.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
is what I always do.
Yeah.
Hello, Ash.
Hey, Ash.
Good evening.
So, Ash, Bundesliga is back in action. You heard anything about when Premier League will be back, or have they even started talking about it?
They've been talking about it for a long time. I think training starts tomorrow. But it's small. Yeah, training does start tomorrow. But it's small group training, so it's like maximum 5 people.
Yeah, so probably still at least a month away.
Yeah, but they've done loads of testing, and 2 players in my team's league have come out with coronavirus, and I think a few Premier League players have as well.
Oh wow.
So it's but it's not a massive oh well when you consider there's like about, I don't know, 400, well, probably about 500 players per league. It's not insane that some of them have it.
Yeah, MLS has gone to training. And I think they're in the same phase that you guys are with small group training, and there's not an actual haven't released a schedule yet for what they're going to do. They're talking about actually having the games here in Orlando because there's the sports facility on Disney property, and that's a place where they can kind of control the access to that. And so they would have basically like a tournament style season where the teams would all be in hotels nearby, and then they would meet to play without any fans in the stands, and just the essential folks and the television crew and that kind of stuff. And it would all be more or less neutral site because, you know, you wouldn't have any home crowds. But, we'll see what they do with that. All right. Enough of the world of coronavirus. We are now going to transition over to the Walker of Waterdeep. My name is DM Gallibond, and I am joined today on the Twitter. Not on the Twitter, on the Discord, by Pete, Ash, Chris, Ken, and Zandri. We have a full house for our game today. And the players, to give you a little brief recap, the players are in the village of Lamholt, which I will show you right here. Lamholt Village in Innistrad. And they have just finished fighting a bunch of demons and cultists under the city and this big sinkhole that opened up behind the inn. And they found a most curious arcane rune, very large arcane circle actually, which Zandri was tracing at the end of our session last week. And Zandri, I am going to go ahead and I am going to put this into Gaunty's. I trust you not to. You can't hurt it because I have the file saved, so I'm going to give you access to edit it as well. If you look in your journal, you will see the design that you managed to trace. And as you traced it, you also noticed on the outer ring of this design, beyond the little orbital circles that are around the central design, there were 4 runes at the cardinal points. There was a rune to the north, a rune to the south, a rune to the east, and a rune to the west. And I am going to give those to you separately. And we'll do this. And we'll do this. And we'll do this. Oh, and I realized I made a boo-boo. So I'm going to change this. And I'm going to change this. And I'm going to change this. Okay. And then I will give you this. Okay. All right. Now, those should all be in your journal as well. Those 4 runes.
There's 2 of them marked off as west. Which one is west?
Well, fiddle faddle. This is what I... There we go. Now that's correct. Okay. So, those appear to be related to, at least, the main image there. But they relate. But what they actually indicate is difficult to decipher.
All right. Once she finishes tracing them, Zandri will call the others over and draw their attention to them.
Okay. All right. So I'm not sure.
I pasted them in the Discord as you shared them.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, since you did that, I'm just going to go ahead and share those on the stream for the viewers, and I'll start with the main arcane circle. Oops. So we'll just do this. We'll say all and show to the players. And then I'll put this up on. Okay. So this is a design that Zandri has found. And it seems very intricate and very odd. One main central circle with a little smaller hub inside it, and then 4 circles at irregular intervals around, for a total of 5 filled in circles, and then a total of 5 smaller circles that are at other intervals around the main circle. So you guys have a look at that. And then I will show you all the other runes so that you can see those. And then all players. So as you look at these, you guys are free to discuss or to theorize or whatever.
Well, it seems like this could be where the seals might be.
Now, last week, right at the end of the session, I think me and Pete's characters, I rolled an Arcana and he rolled Religion, and we both got crits. So I don't know exactly what information we derived from that. Was it just these symbols, or?
Well, what you would derive from that when Zandri shows you how everything is oriented on the drawing, then you would be you would definitely think that the fact that they're at cardinal points has something to do with either landmarks or orientation. But these are runes that are strange to you. They don't match up with any arcane symbols that you're familiar with from Waterdeep or from Toril, for that matter. They clearly symbolize something, but it's not at all obvious what they would symbolize.
He looks over an Adamant. What do you suppose that this means, my friend?
I think. Remember how Zandri was told that we might be looking for seals.
Perhaps it is
It would make sense. It's either seals or something incredibly important.
No, Zandri, didn't you mention that maybe we should get a map of this realm and see if we can pinpoint where these are located, no?
It wouldn't be a bad idea if we can get the scaling correct.
That's going to be the challenging part.
Which one of us would be suited for such a task?
Maps are not my forte.
Well, Zandri has proficiency with what? With painter's tools, or?
Painter's tools, but she's not a cartographer.
Yeah. Does anybody have proficiency with cartography? Or have that?
Not I. Me.
Negative.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a no from me. But I feel like we could get an expert, someone who knows maps, and then they'll see where this could go, and they'll be like, oh yeah, there's something weird over here. There could definitely be something over there. But if a circle lands in the middle of the sea, then it's probably not done right.
Well, I know that it's important to map out mines correctly, so perhaps in the north we might find a skilled artisan that can do such a thing.
We might be able to find one right here in town. All we have to do is ask.
It's worth a shot.
All right. So You guys all take some time to look at this. When you're done, Zandri, anything in particular you want to tell the rest of them about?
Well, I mean, she showed them everything that she noticed, and she
Okay.
certainly didn't get a natural 20, so she didn't notice anything that Oyo and Adamant didn't.
Okay. All right. So then are you guys going to head back up to the town, or you want to do anything else before you leave down here?
There's much else for us to do down here. I still want to go down over to the quarry.
Okay.
Well, they said that they found that petrified angel back when the town was founded. I think if there were any more of them, they would have discovered them by now.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. So y'all head back up top, and Zandri, I'll just let you figure out however you're going to carry this drawing with you. There's nothing really that's going to, to make any rolls for smudging it or anything like that as you go. And as you get back towards the inn, you all encounter a familiar looking face. And this is, of course, father or brother. What is it? Brother Brankovenu. And he is the priest of Avacyn from the shrine. And he comes up to you and he says, "Oh, what do you all have there?"
Well, we're not entirely sure. We have a couple of theories, but we need a map that it can scale to.
Oh, that looks large. We have a large map of Innistrad in the shrine. Come. I will show you. And so he takes you into the shrine, which is next door to the inn. And you go in, and he takes you to the back where there is basically he has like an office. And on one wall, there is a large map that's it's about 12 feet by 12 feet. And it's on vellum. And it shows the entire area of Innistrad. And it just so happens that I have a full map of this that I can display for everybody. And it shows the various different provinces and everything of Innistrad. And everybody can make perception checks. Yeah, if they would like.
I would like.
Actually, I'm going to say Adamant and Oyo don't need to make perception checks, but everybody else can. I keep forgetting you guys have
I
the
rolled the
ungodly.
highest.
So far. Yeah. Okay, so Galibar, you notice something odd. And about the time that you notice it, you kind of see recognition in the faces of both Adamant and Oyohusa, because they've seen it too. Offset from the corners of this map, not right in each corner, but just like a few degrees off from the actual corner, tilted a bit to a bit counterclockwise, you see 4 markings that match up with the markings on the cardinal points of the drawing that Zandri has.
Fuck.
And go ahead.
I'll show her the map. And
What are these spots here?
And Brother Emil, he says, I don't know. They are markings that indicate the different seasons of the year. You'll see there is the one that looks like all blocky and crystally, and that signifies the snows and ice of winter. And then there is the one that is the teardrop, the stylized flame, and that indicates the heat of summer. And then there is the one that is the stylized mother, symbolizing rebirth and the spring. And then there is the one signifying the 3 paths that any life may take, which has always been associated with autumn in Estrad. So they are just simple markings of the seasons. Why do you ask?
Zandri, can you lift that map, the tracing up to the map?
She does.
Okay. So you put the tracing up to the map, and I knew there was something I forgot to do. So we will just take care of that right now. We'll just make a blank page here, and we are going to go get this. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to go to the map, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to bring this here and expand this out like so. Okay. Oh, that's going to be almost perfect. Close enough for government work. Okay. And then I will move our marker over to here. Okay, so when we see this, when you guys see this, as you turn the tracing and you line up the symbols from the tracing with the symbols in the corners of the map, something strange happens. you see circles of different colors that begin to appear, glowing on both the tracing and the map. Let's see. So one of them actually appears to be right here in Lambholt. And it, oh, that's not going to show up very well on that background, is it? Okay. Well, then in that case, I'll just change the color. I'll make it something that will show up better. Let's make it a nice blue. Okay, so all right, so there's a circle that shows up in blue in Lambholt, and there's also a slightly smaller blue circle that shows up near Hollowhinge, where you guys came from. And then there are 4 other colored pairs of circles. So I've got to do high contrast with this color of the map. So let me do a yellow one. The yellow one will be the larger yellow one appears all the way at the north. And it is near the city of Thraben. And then the smaller yellow one is offset over here at a place on the map that is marked Markov Manor.
Oh no.
Then there's a white pair, and the white pair shows up. Okay, the white pair will show up at this pass here. The larger white one shows up. Whoops, dang it. This is a handy little tool, but it's not the greatest for real time. Shows up here, and then the smaller white circle shows up at a place that's indicated on the map as the town of Corsiva. And of course, the larger one is just outside of this rift that is known as the Ashmouth. And then let's see, there's 2 more sets. Okay.
Red shows up on yellow, purple shows up on green. If you're looking for high contrast colors, Gally.
Okay. Red shows up on yellow, purple shows up on green. So where is my... I wrote down the names, but I didn't remember to tell myself what part of the map they're on. Okay, so. Oh, yes, there they are. So let's take a look at, we'll find something that is Yeah, we'll do that. So over here, kind of near where you guys thought you were going to go anyway, the Moorcroft Marsh, you see a larger purple circle, and then a smaller purple circle shows up at the town of Erikstag. And then the final pair, would you say shows up well on the lighter?
On yellow, something like bright red or.
Okay. All right, good. So let me go get like a. Yeah, there we go. This is good. A larger red circle shows up kind of out in the middle of nowhere, right in an area called the Moors. And a smaller red circle shows up all the way over here, looking like it's on what appears to be the highest peak of the mountains on the coast up here in the northwest. So I'm going to go ahead and then ping the areas of the map to show you. So the blue pair, the larger one is right here in the town where you all are. The smaller one is over in Hollowhenge, where you all came from. Then the next closest pair, if we go around clockwise, next closest pair, there is a large circle over at this path that is noted as the Needle Eye Path or Needle Eye Pass on the map. And then this little town has the companion circle in Korsava. And the next pair, the large circle, is on the town of Thraben, which is the capital, which is where the seat of the church is. And the smaller circle is at Markov Manor, which is the seat of power of the Markovs. You've heard of those guys before.
Once or twice.
Then the red pair, the one just looks like it's out in the middle of nowhere in the moors in Gavany. And its companion is up in the crags of these mountains over here on the coast. And then the final pair, the large one is in this Markov Marsh. And that's very close to the Dressic Bog, where you all have an errand of your own. And then its companion is over in this little, looks like it's over in this little town of Erikstag. And it's quite amazing because as you line those things up, like I said, the colors just glow, both on the map and on the tracing. And Brother Eric is kind of astonished. He's like, what is this? Is this something you are doing?
We were hoping that you could tell us.
These are locations, and you notice that as you orient it, indeed, the large circles on your map, the larger circles line up with these points on the map, and the little small fainter circles line up with the smaller circles that are on your on your drawing, and I won't challenge anybody to go and try to get too particular about it because I just picked places that oriented close enough to to how that design turned out. And he says, "Oh, Hollowhenge, that's a place of horrors. It used to be a lovely town called Averbrook until the Howlpacks ravaged through it." And did you tell him last week that that's where you had been, or have you told him? Okay. Yeah, he thought it was. He thought it was. He said. He says, "Yes, I think you said you came from there, but I'm not sure what this place and that place have in common, other than they're both towns in Kessig. But then over to the east, there's Selhofen, Erikstag. Those are Erikstag is quite a lovely little town. It's a baron that keeps that place running well enough, but the Dressic Marsh, or the Morcut Marsh, I have no idea what's out there. The only thing there are ruins and nasty creatures and undead. And the moors, the moors are haunted. You want to stay away from there.
See, we may not have a choice.
And the mountains over on the coast, they're bitterly cold. The highest mountain over there is a mountain called Mount Moldovino. And Mount Moldovino has snow on the peaks all year round. It's very, very cold up at the top. And let us see. Then, of course, over on the other side, on the west, those two are very close to the Ashmouth. Those are ones, the white ones. You want to be very careful there. Korsava is a hard town, populated by brigands and outcasts, ruffians from all across Innistrad. It's a place where those who cannot survive anywhere else are exiled and allowed to be food for the demons from the Ashmouth. And the Needle Eye Pass is a place that none except the very brave or the very foolish ever go anymore, ever since the Ashmouth opened. Strange. And he says, I wonder, what could possibly connect these places? And he seems to get lost in thought.
Could I
roll something to try to figure out what it could.
Sure. Let's see. What's better for you, religion or history?
They're the same.
They're the same. Okay. Oh, that's right, because they're both. I keep thinking religion is a wisdom skill, but they're both intelligence.
It really
based.
should be, but it isn't.
Yeah. Let me take a look here at the.
Even if it was both by wisdom and intelligence, same 10.
Okay. I just want to take a look at what you have here. Yeah. It's all going to be either wisdom or intelligence based to look at it. So
Yeah.
take your
You-
pick, maybe either of either of investigation or religion, I guess. See if anything pops out at you.
15.
15. No. The 15.
Do you
Yes.
have a piece of chalk, maybe?
Oh, yes. So he'll get you a piece of chalk. He actually has some artist chalk. So he's got some white chalk and some yellow chalk and some bluish chalk and some reddish chalk. And he'll let you.
Technically,
whichever
both me and Zandri would also have
He's going to
just the
start.
disguise kit.
He's going to start connecting the lines, connecting the circles.
Like circles of the same color?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you can draw on the map. So if you want to do that, I'll let you make any of those markings that you want. Meanwhile, while Pete is doing that, anybody else have something they want to do?
I'm assisting Pete. I'm assisting Adamant. As he's working on it, I'm kind of going to maybe try to formulate my own assumptions about what this means.
Okay.
In a role of some sort, maybe.
Yeah, you guys are.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
The cult that we fought starts with an S. Skurstag. Could this be connected to them? They said that they had a presence in Hollowhenge, didn't they?
Oh, yes, the Skurstag were what the people call themselves, and the cult is the what is the cult is actually called Cult of where the hell is it? Cult of Grizzlebrand. Skurstag is what the people call themselves, and Grizzlebrand, Emil can tell you, is the name of one of the more powerful demons.
Wait a minute. Isn't the cult of Gristlebrand the people that had the tree planted, and the cultists that we killed were worried about those trees? Like they advised the guy we captured and interrogated advised us to tear those trees up by the roots and burn them out. And I thought we were told that the cult of Gristlebrand were the ones behind those trees. The Gulthias trees?
The Gulthias trees. I think the people that told you about ripping out the trees were the vampires at the house where you...
No, we asked the cultist that we captured. And he was telling us that we were idiots because we didn't burn out the roots and tear them up.
Right.
Oh, yes. He was telling you that. Yes, he did tell you that. And
They're the same group?
no. The vampires from the house in Hollowhinge were telling you clearly as a warning. And they were truly scared of it. The cultist that you were talking to, he was telling you more like scoffing at how ignorant you are.
Okay, so
it was
he didn't
more
want
of
us
a
to tear it up. He was just mocking us for not doing it.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
And if I remember correctly, the vampires that we encountered there, which I don't remember which house they were from, but they said they were protecting it, trying to keep the cultists from capturing that location.
Yes, they were trying to prevent the cultists from being able to enter the house. And they also had a notion that if their wards would hold, it would prevent the Gulthias tree from spawning more of its little evil plant monsters that run around ravaging the countryside.
Now, that big circle where we found that. Now, I had learned during last session that it was a teleportation circle, was it not? Or was I thought it was a teleportation circle, but it was actually covered up, and then it was actually...
Yes, it looked when you guys first saw it, it looked to you very similar to a teleportation circle. And then after the fight, when you uncovered more of it, you realized, oh no, that's not a teleportation circle, it's something different. Because a teleportation circle, at least in your experience, both from what you've seen in Toril and what you saw on Ravnica, and the, for want of a better word, the pad that you teleported to here in Innistrad, those teleportation circles are more just a large circle, usually with a dual line and then runes inscribed in between the two borders of the circle all the way around. And usually they're like a 10-foot diameter, or in some cases they're a little bit larger.
All right. I guess after we spend some time studying this thing, can I try to figure out what I think it might be?
Sure.
What am I rolling?
Go ahead and roll a. Is your Arcana or Religion better? I mean, do you have one of them trained?
No.
Versus another? You don't, so they're both going to be the same. And then your choice. Roll one or the other. Where is my?
Nope.
Okay. Generate. Okay. The. After after a while, while you all are there at the church or at the shrine, a door opens from the outside, and a very distinguished looking gentleman comes in, and brother, the priest, goes off to talk to him and quickly brings him back into the area where you all, the office where you all are looking at this. And Brother Emil identifies this man as one of the town elders named Mihail Bretoneau. I'm going to put that in the Discord. All right. So he says, Mihail, you are learned. You have traveled across Innistrad. Does this mean anything to you? Do these locations hold any meaning for you? And he looks at it, and he says, oh. He says, yes. Yes, I think I recall something that I read in my library. My library at home. You all are welcome to come to my home, or I can go search my library and see if I can find the book myself and bring it back. I can bring it back here or bring it to the inn where you are staying.
Please go fetch your book. We'll be here when you get back.
All right. So he runs off, and let me double check what the roll over here was for. Yeah, 10 doesn't make. Okay. So Adamant has been busy.
After he does all that, he is going to look it over really closely.
Okay.
And I shall my own religion check here.
Okay. I'm going to give you advantage. Because it looks like something is starting to come together from your...
There we go.
Yes. It's definitely not a regular shape. There's not anything about it that is immediately familiar, except for the fact that it does look like a little bit like an off-kilter spider's web, as you have depicted it here. And the everything radiating out from the center would possibly indicate that the center is something that is either being supported or held together by all the other points around it. And that this may be a focal point of some kind.
Well, it looks like we'll have to take care of all the other area spots before we go for the center one.
And Brother Emil he's just dumbstruck by this. He says, I can't possibly imagine what could be out in the moors. I mean, there's been nothing in the moors for centuries. Not since the entire kingdom, the entire domain of King Barov was there, and then simply vanished. Now all that's out there in the moors is those eternal mists.
We might not find out until we take care of the other spots.
Well, it is said that people who travel in the moors too much sometimes disappear and are never seen again. They just vanish without a trace, swallowed by the mists.
We won't go there until we take care of these other spots. I feel like it's all going to be connected.
Well, I wish you luck. Well, tell me, while we have the map out, you indicated earlier that there were errands of your own that you needed to tend to. Where do you need to go? Perhaps I can give you some assistance or offer some help.
He wants to talk out to Zandri. Zandri would mark where we need to go for our things.
She looks momentarily confused, but sure. But
Okay, so she'll mark over by the mine and then over by the bog. Oh.
and I believe, let me double check my notes. Yeah, the memory shard is in Dressic Bog, and the element is in the abandoned mine.
And then I guess the way back home, you would know where that. You would know where
Well,
that
yes,
is.
but he was asking about where our goals were.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so he says, "Oh, the mine. That mine has not been used in quite some time. It's been a couple of generations since the ore veins were exhausted, or so everyone thought. It's been closed up. Nothing down there except the ghosts of the miners who perished, pulling the ore out of the heart of the mountains. And the bog, oof. Bogs in Innistrad are dangerous places. The spirits of the undead often roam as false light to lead you into bottomless pools, and then the corpses of those that have been swallowed will sometimes rise up from the muck and attack the living. It's not pleasant places at all. Can't imagine what sort of sadist would send you on missions to those kinds of places. Certainly someone without the courage to go themselves.
We won't get into that.
And after a while, Mihail Bratineau returns. And he is carrying with him a book. And this book is called The Edge of the Exiled, by an author named Marcu Iacobescu. So we'll put that in the Discord for you guys. The Edge of the Exile by an author named Marcu Iacobescu. And he briefly describes that that Edwin Markov, the vampire, did not, in fact, destroy his beloved Avacyn, but instead he created a dimension between planes where he trapped her for her own protection, and in a hope to purify the corruption from her. And this, he created a system of seals where each seal had a lock that was located in a separate place. And there were 5 seals, and it was his hope, it was Edwin's hope, that if Avacyn stayed in this dimension between planes long enough, then her own pure nature would eventually purge her of the corruption that had seeped into her while she was confined in the Hellgate with the demons that she had trapped there. And it was apparently Markov's belief that by trapping herself in the Hellgate to seal the demons away from the people, she had been corrupted by their presence. And so there's no indication of when or if Markov ever intended to free her from this demi-plane. But the fact that it is a separate area and it is locked up indicates that there probably is a way of getting into it. Now, Iabescu mentions this in passing, and he claims to have read about the construction of the demi-plane and its lock and seal system in a multi-volume biography of the Markov family that is called Legacy of the Blood, the Markov Dynasty, and the Rise of the Nightwalkers by an author named Eliza Ponaru. And he says that he found that biography in the library of the Grand Cathedral's University in Thraben. So I'll put that information in the Discord for you as well. So basically, the book that the guy in town has is a reference to something that he read in another book, and he's just sort of summarizing what he read. He's not giving a whole lot of details about it.
So let me get this straight. This Markov banishes his beloved in a demi-plane, basically, because he feared that she had become too corrupted.
Yes. And the Brother Emil will go on to explain that in the history of Innistrad, there has always been cycles of famine and hunger and death, pestilence and plague, and the like. And the Markovs were one of the most brilliant families that kind of a dynasty all of their own in Innistrad's history. And eventually, Edwin Markov, who has become known as a legendary figure and a planeswalker in his own right, Edwin Markov eventually discovered that there might be a way to save the population from certain death in one of these plagues. And his gambit was to create to basically split the population in half. Half of the population would become shepherds, and the other half of the population would become what he called sheep. And the shepherds would tend the flock, if you will, and also cull the herds. And Markov's father started working with him on this, and there was a stumbling block they couldn't get through. And eventually, Markov's father consulted with a demon and was given a demonic ritual which required the blood of an angel. And when they conducted this ritual, it turned the Markovs into the first vampires. And the vampires would become the shepherds. And they would not need to feed on the crops or the livestock or anything. So there would be enough food to feed the people, the humans of Innistrad. And the vampires could survive by feeding on small amounts of the blood from the humans. And so it was intended to be kind of a symbiotic relationship where there would be enough resources for the humans, and then the humans would provide enough sustenance for the vampires. But of course, as these things go, as there became more and more vampires, some of them became overzealous, and instead of wanting to be shepherds, they wanted to simply consume all that they could. And so then Edwin had to turn around and create something to combat the overzealous vampires. And what he did to do that is he created the Archangel Avacyn. And the Church of Avacyn grew up around this figure. But then because of the demonic ritual that Edwin's father had conducted, that now created the original what is that place called? That created the original Devil's Breach over in the hinterlands in the southeastern part of the map. And that gave the demons and the devils a gateway into Innistrad itself. And so Avacyn had to combat both the vampires that were overzealous and the demons. And then eventually, long story short, she had to start locking the demons in a place called the Hellgate, which is way up at the northern tip of the map, just north of Thraben. And the Hellgate is an enormous lance of moon silver that juts out of the earth at that location. And she was able to imprison the demons there so that they wouldn't just respawn after they were killed, after their physical bodies were killed, and return to wreak havoc once again. But there were several of them that she was never able to completely entrap, so she had to lock herself in the Hellgate with them. That was the only way she could get them in there. And she was there for a long period of time in the presence of those demons until some necromancers raised an army of undead that went and shattered the Hell Vault and released Avacyn and all of the demons that she had trapped there. And when Avacyn returned, she was corrupted. And the rumor went, and most people who are outside of the church, and even some people within the church, believe that Edwin Markov was ultimately forced to destroy Avacyn. But according to some scholars, including apparently the author of this biography and those who have read it, the Avacyn wasn't destroyed, but she was locked away in a demiplane in an attempt to ultimately purify her, return her to her noble state. But of course, while she's locked away, she can't do anybody any good. And Innistrad is ravaged once again by the vampires and the demons.
So would it be safe to assume that these vampires don't want this angel to be freed?
Well, it depends on which vampires you're talking about. The Markovs would probably want Avacyn to be freed if they knew she had been purified. But most of the other vampires would probably not want her freed, because then she would prevent them from just feasting on the humans at will. And of course, the demons wouldn't want her freed, because she might discover ultimately a way of actually completely destroying them, and not just killing their physical forms and sending them back to the underworld. As far as anybody knows, as long as the Ashmouth and the Devil's Breach both exist, then you can kill demons and devils as much as you want, but they have those gateways where they can just come right back into the world.
No, I have a question.
Okay.
Is the Nine Hells and the Abyss like their own realms? So like all demons and devils in there, or does every realm like have their own?
In the cosmology of the multiverse that the people of Toril, the scholars of Toril, would be aware of, the scholars of Toril always think of the Nine Hells and the Planes of the Abyss as part of the multiverse that exist in relation to all other planes. Now, of course, in that cosmology, demons are chaotic and devils are lawful. Now, coming here and talking to people here and finding out more about what's going on here, the alignment seems to be reversed. The creatures that they call demons here seem to be lawful, while the creatures they call devils seem to be agents of evil chaos. Of course, they're both evil and both work against the against the best interests of humanity. But the demons in this realm seem to be the ones wanting to impose tyranny, while the devils are the ones that just want to watch the world burn, if you will. So to answer your question, it's unclear whether this is the same planes of hell that you would be aware of in Toril, or whether this is a completely separate a completely separate cosmology than the one you're familiar with.
Okay.
But for sure, demons are lawful and devils are chaotic here.
That's what everybody will tell you, yes. Brother Emil will tell you, and other people who are learned will also swear up and down the same thing.
Well, that cultist, when I interrogated him, he said the same thing, but I thought he was brainwashed. Apparently.
Yeah, the cultists believe. Apparently, the cultists believe that Avacyn has been destroyed, and with the fact that Avacyn could be destroyed, that proves in their minds that angels are not immortal, and that only the demons and the devils are immortal. And because the devils want to just destroy everything, these cultists would rather align themselves with the demons, which means they would basically voluntarily put themselves under the tyranny of the demons, but at least under tyranny, they would be able to survive. Or so they think. That would be their rationale. If you talk to enough of them, that's what you would learn. And Brother Emil will tell you that that's basically what the church has determined from their interrogations of the cultists as well.
I have a question for you. These locations, if even we wanted to try to save this archangel, how would we go about doing it?
Well, I'm not sure of the mechanics, but based on what is said, if this source is valid, then it would seem to me that you would need to unlock all of the locks. And that may allow you to either open or destroy the seals. And perhaps once the seals are destroyed, then that would free Avacyn from this demiplane. Or it might open a portal to the demiplane so that one could enter it and go retrieve her.
But which is the seal and which is the lock?
That he's not quite sure of. However, if you all either relate to him or take him and show him what you found down in the pit, he would surmise that that would be what he would think of as a seal. And so you would have to go find the lock that corresponds with it and unlock that lock before anything could happen with that seal.
Find the key.
Yeah,
the seal is the lock. We need to find the key.
Yes.
Okay, then that answers my question. That these smaller locations are the places in which we find the keys.
Yes. So if we can trust that the similar colors means there's a correlation, then the key for the seal in Lambholt would be found somewhere in Hollowhenge or near Hollowhenge. But with a map on this scale, it's impossible to say exactly where. Perhaps the tome that is referenced by the book that Mihail owns, perhaps that biography of the Markovs would provide more details.
So we'd have to go all the way to Thraben to visit the Great Library there to get a complete copy.
He says that might be the case. He said, although that seems to be very far out of the way of your errand. He says, this is Brother Emil. He says, I have an idea. How about I get some folk together to help you make the journey as far north as Gatstaff, where perhaps you can find some people that can help you with the mine. And while you are on that journey, I will send word to Thraben and see if there is any way that we might help you get to Thraben more quickly, or that they might be able to send us a copy of this biography. I doubt they would allow any books to leave the library itself, but maybe there's a way of getting you there more rapidly than simply riding your horses overland.
I
That-
agree. Makes
That
more
could be
sense.
useful.
So I do not want to. I want to find out if there's a way we can free Avacyn, and if you all can do it, it would be a service that would make the people of all of Innistrad eternally in your debt. If you could pull it off.
Okay.
But in the meanwhile,
Galibar says, if we are going to attempt to save this world, before we do any of that, he just looks at the rest of his group. He says, before we attempt to save this world, can we at least make sure that we got our stuff done first, just in case we need to run? We've fought these demons and cultists. Zandri nearly died. He said that he was going to come back with even stronger people. We might not be fit to be able to save this world.
Like
And
Galibar.
I don't know about you, but I care about my world more. I want to make sure that we can get our job done before we do anything else.
Galibar, the only issue with this is, do you know anything about mining?
Sorry about what, I didn't hear you.
Do you know anything about mining, Galibar?
Not really.
Neither do I. So we have to wait for help on that. Because while it seems like a simple thing, mining. Is that better?
yes, that's better.
While it seems like a simple thing, mining is not a simple thing. And it's better left to people who know what they're doing, which they've offered to help us with that. And that's going to take time. And what was our other task?
We have to
The
recover to send his memory shard.
That is going into a marsh, yes?
yeah, that's
bog,
over at the
technically.
bog. Yeah.
We need to find out more about this bog before we go barging into it anyway.
He could he could definitely try to pull together some information from any sources he could find around town or through contacts in other towns. Anything they can find out about the bog for you while you all go to the mine and do what you need to do there. And Brother Emil suggests that if you go to the mine, do your task there, and return to Lambholt, by that time, he may have more information that could clarify exactly what would be entailed in either dealing with this system of locks and seals, or you know, what you guys might encounter if you head to the bog. Because now he seems to feel like, okay, there might in fact be hope of getting this task done after all. Which of course what everybody was so excited about when you all first showed up and displayed your prowess in combat.
Right. So we go to mind.
Oops. We just lost Gaunty. So, Adamant, you're interested in heading to the mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think it would be wise for us to finish our primary mission before accepting any additional.
Well, it's like I said, we've already set things in motion here that we cannot leave unchecked. It would be highly irresponsible of us to not finish what we started. I understand where both of you are coming from, and we can do both at the same time. However, it would look very poorly of us to not finish what we started here. This demon is not just going to forget about us. And he will come back to this town and tear it apart until he finds us.
I just that our mission be priority. If
We
it
can't
comes down
classify
to-
other lives or
comes-
lives.
if it comes down to completing our mission or saving this world, I think it's at the moment the only way to find out what is happening in our world is the sending. Aside from that, we have no idea. We don't know what time frame we're working with. We just know what we have to do.
And yes, I understand that. But how do you think they would feel if we left people in just as big a lurch as we are in? When we caused part of the problem by coming here and upending the status quo, as you would say.
How did we upset the status quo? That makes no sense.
All
We did was simply come here.
We came here and we took out a powerful demon, Oyo, who is going to remember us, but not so fondly. And who do you think he's going to take that out on?
The same people he was planning to attack in the first place.
So he was not merely attacking. Attacking is actually worse than what he was doing.
He was taking people for sacrifice.
If he attacked, he would just wipe the whole village out.
The
And move on to
entire
the
village
next
would have
one.
been wiped out eventually anyway.
Kind of looks at Galibar for a moment. And if nobody helped Waterdeep, what would have happened there?
We cannot be the saviors of the entire universe. We have a mission. We need to complete that mission. Or people that we do know will greatly suffer. We do what we can, but you cannot save everyone.
No, but we can finish what we started here. And what we started here started in that. When we went under that tree.
I disagree. I think it was just something that we walked into. We are not honor bound or responsible for any of the other actions of any entities that may or may not exist on this plane of existence.
Exactly.
I believe we have reached an impasse on this because
You know, brother Emil will offer this much. He'll say, well, without understanding more of what unlocking these locks actually entails, I don't know how much you could do.
we've got to find out more about it. So I have no problem with doing what we need to do first. But I do have an issue with leaving these people deal with this stuff, even if we talk.
I think that we are wasting too much time sitting around bickering amongst ourselves about our particular alignments towards what we think is right and what we think is wrong. Things like this we could discuss on the road to our objectives.
And Brother Emil will say, yes. Well, I will round up some guides that can help you get to Getstaff by the quickest route. It will be a couple of days to reach there. You can send some men with horses and perhaps a few fighting men along, a wagon or two with you. And once you reach Getstaff, you could find the miners that could help you go to the mine. They would know more about what exact dangers might lurk within the old mine tunnels themselves. And he says, if you all want to go back to the inn, I will send word when I have rounded up a few folk that might be able to help.
We appreciate your assistance in this matter.
I'm glad to lend assistance. There's in the last few hours there has been more hope here in the town than we have felt since we got the news that Avison had left us once again. Or been taken from us, or whatever the case may be.
We sympathize with your plight, but our homeworld is greatly in peril as it is itself. It's not easy to deal with such things.
No, you are right. There are troubles everywhere. And while it seems hard for me to fathom, I suppose that there is somewhere in the universe where people have it worse than even here in Innistrad. It feels like we have all been forsaken by everything that is good and left to just be the food for all the evil that the multiverse can throw at us. So, you all gonna head on back to the inn then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any kind of other business or anything you guys want to do? I don't know. I don't remember whether you have any loot you wanted to sell or anything like that.
Not at the moment.
I thought we talked about like giving the weapons and everything we got from the people we got from the defeated enemies to the defendants.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they would definitely be glad for that if you decide you wanted to do that. All right. So you head to the inn, and the rest of the day passes. And towards evening time, you get word from Brother Emil that there are several folk from the town who would be willing to serve to be guides to take you north to the town of Gatstaff. And those guides are from, let's see, what's the name of this place again? They are deputized friends of what is his name? Naresh Tazlakian. And Naresh Tazlakian is the person who serves as the town constable. And his deputies mainly patrol for the occasional werewolf that wanders into the town, or wild beasts that may pose a threat to the livestock, such as normal wolves or dire wolves that might be out there. And he so he will send two of his guides with you, as well as a driver with a wagon and a groom that will look after your horses as well as the horses of the deputies. And so it's 4 people that will go along with you. And they are all used to traveling across Kessig, and they know the signs, the dangerous signs. Like they can spot those pumpkin patches from like 500 yards and know to stay well away from all of that kind of stuff. And they know what to look for in terms of signs that there might be dangerous beasts around. So if you're willing, they will go with you. Yay, nay?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, get a good rest and get after it. I mean, whether we decide to, I mean, I think we were kind of agreeing that we need to do a primary mission that we're here. And then after we're done, I guess we can ultimately decide whether the party wants to take on this grand scheme plan of saving this archangel.
In Galibar's eyes, we are not yet. We are not yet ready to handle such a grand quest.
We're on a grand quest right now.
Not as grand as, like, setting an archangel free.
I disagree. We're traveling planes looking for pieces to a weapon or item that's going to allow us to defeat our big enemy. But we also need to get allies.
In video game terms, we're on a fetch quest.
Everything's a fetch quest in the long run.
In his eyes, we are not yet, like, he saw Zandri almost die in that last fight and does not want to see that again. He does not think we are yet strong enough to take on what we are facing. When he saw that when he heard the demon say that he was going to bring his like stronger allies to face us.
They're always going to bring stronger allies when we leave, when somebody's going to come back at us.
Okay, let's take a moment and we can have a discussion either in character or out of character. Because I have led you guys to a place that I thought I wanted to take you from exploring character motivations. And I'm not sure whether it's having the desired effect or not. So let's put a little bow on what we have right now and step out of it for a moment and have a different discussion. And I am going to ask each of you individually to articulate, if it were up to you, what we would do in this place. I think, Chris, you have said something, but I'm going to start with you and let you sort of expound on, if you want to, what you're feeling or what you think Galibar is feeling right now in terms of what's most important for you guys and what's most important for your characters. Okay, Zandri, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think we can go. I think we can go on a little break. Yeah, let's go ahead and for the folks on stream, we're going to have a little break in terms of what's happening in the game, and have a little discussion here. And I'm seeing one vote from one player. Would you guys prefer that we do this while we're off the stream? Or
I think
do you
it would
care?
be better in the long
Definitely
run.
off stream.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well then, guys, thank you for showing up and hanging out on the stream today. I think we're gonna probably, in terms of the actual session for gameplay today, we're gonna call it a little bit short of what we normally do. And the party would like to have a little discussion of how they want to proceed at this point, because the DM has put the characters in a bit of a quandary, and I think the players need to work out what they want to do. So I will let you guys know through Instagram and through the Twitter if we're going to fire the stream back up later today. But for right now, I think we need to go ahead and respect the wishes of the players and have a little discussion offline on this. So thank you, guys. We will talk to you all either later today or next Sunday. And take care, everyone. So we are going to do this.